Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. Today we're breaking down Thursday Night Football. We're talking about our 5 favorite NFL spreads for the week, and we're also looking at some NBA props for the week. So get excited, people, right now. We got a big show ahead. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Tanner. You know, they say all good things come to an end. I had my first losing week of the NFL season last week. It was a great run we were on, 6 weeks, never losing, went 7-8 with the spread picks last week. Thought we had a chance to get to the 8-7, but CJ Stroud, man. I think back to the conversations we had when we were doing our top 10 quarterbacks entering the season. I have Stroud at 10. You're like, what the hell is he doing there? I said, come on, man. It was rookie season, offensive line, receiver injuries, et cetera, his sophomore year. I'm no longer, I have to rethink I have to remap how I'm thinking. I'm no longer thinking to myself, what does it take for Stroud to get back to the rookie season? I'm thinking, how did the rookie season happen? How did that even happen? Because he looks like a totally different guy. And I think this is who he really is, not the rookie season guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's very good at football. I think we see these quarterbacks pop off and then they tend to decline. And it's really hard to be a good quarterback in the NFL. You think about it, how many quarterbacks actually play in college and high school and eventually get to the NFL, and we still can't find 32 good quarterbacks. Like, we just can't do it. So it's a hard position to play. I think CJ Stroud's time as a starter will be short-lived in the NFL. That's my prediction moving forward.
Well, you know what also, I think it was Kevin O'Connell who said it, is that the league also gives up on quarterbacks sooner than they should. And
Yes.
to be fair, you are seeing that with Sam Darnold. You are seeing that with Daniel Jones. So I think really what these last couple of years has taught us, and I'm not saying DeMeco Ryans is a bad coach. I think he's a great coach, actually, but he's a defensive coach. I don't think they have the right offensive structure around him. You know, if CJ Stroud went to play for the Vikings, went to play for the Colts, heck, he might be the MVP because Daniel Jones is an MVP candidate right now. But I think these last couple of years have shown us more than ever having an elite offensive mind can completely change a franchise and a player.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. You need the offensive minded head coach. I think defensive minded head coaches just don't work right now. I mean, I look at the New York Jets with Aaron Glenn, and obviously Aaron Glenn is going to get canned very soon, but they can't throw the ball. They don't know how to manage the game. Like, because you need the head coach managing the game so the offensive coordinator can call the plays. So it's like he can't manage the game. The OC can't call the plays. And also, I think, too, from a defensive perspective, when you do have a defensive head coach, who do you put in place in the position groups on the offensive side of the ball? Like, you need to have the right guys everywhere. And I think offense does win in the NFL ultimately. Defense wins championships, right? But in the NFL, you need to be able to score points to win. And we're seeing that with these defensive-minded head coaches. They're just really struggling. By the way, do you think the Jets are going to go 0-17 this year?
Whew, that's a good question. Let's look at their schedule. At Bengals, Browns, at Patriots, at Ravens, Falcons, Dolphins, at Jags, at Saints, Patriots, Bills. No, they're going to win at least one of those.
They would have won with Tyrod Taylor on the field this week. Full game Tyrod. Yeah, full game Tyrod. They would have won. He came in at the half. Didn't look great, but looked better than Justin Fields. I don't know. Justin Fields' fall off should be studied too. These guys are so good in college and they just can't do it in the league. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, think about, you're saying that with CJ Stroud. Stroud was phenomenal in college.
If Justin Fields could be a atom, what's that called? An atom, a molecule of a bad CJ Stroud, that would be a mega improvement for him.
So CJ Stroud Justin Fields, his last year at Ohio State, actually it was I think this would have been his sophomore year. I don't know if he played as a freshman. His second year was actually the year. He completed 67% of his passes, 3,300 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Also had 500 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns.
And he couldn't beat Michigan.
Yeah.
So it comes down to. Anyways, Grant, this is the Ride the Line podcast. We got a lot to talk about today, but before we do that, make sure you guys check out WSN.com. We got picks and promo codes for NFL, for NBA. We're talking about every sport on there, so make sure you check it out. We also got sports betting promo codes for people to get the bonus bets, get the deposit matches, and also we got Kalshi on there now too. We got some really exciting stuff. Got prize picks, got all these kind of cool stuff, right, Grant?
Yeah, and on top of that, Tanner, I'm sure you know this, but the Missouri State sports betting market launching on December 1st. So I'm sure we've got some Chiefs fans that are watching the show right now. You guys got a couple of sports books that have been approved. I think it's DraftKings and Circa. Some others are in the process of getting approved. And when they do get approved, you can't place bets until the start of December, but you can make accounts. And so everything we're talking about here with the promos, I can only imagine what the promos are going to be. Normally they're bigger when states first launch their markets. So if you do go to WSN.com, once again, you will get a whole bunch of deals. I don't know what they're going to be. They could be bonus bets. They could be first bet insurance. They could be profit boost. They could be a whole litany of things. Whatever they are, it's waiting for you at WSN.com.
I remember when Massachusetts launched, and it was like one of the greatest days of my life. I had it in Connecticut before, but when Massachusetts launched, they were given like 1 goal to be scored in the Bruins game, whatever. No, it wasn't a no sweat bet. It was like a no brainer boost or something like that. 1 goal to be scored, 1 3-pointer in the Celtics game. It was like $100 max bets. So you'd get a free $100 basically right there. So they had like 4 or 5 of those over the course of the weekend. You would just pocket money. So make sure you guys sign up, especially if you're in Missouri. Check out WSN.com. Also, subscribe to the show, guys. We are here every Tuesday and Friday. We're posting clips. We'll be posting Thursday night football clips, spread clips for the NFL, NBA betting picks. Make sure you guys check that out. And Grant, we got a big week. Thursday night football. Big game coming up on Thursday night. When you look at this matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers, the Chargers kind of spiraling right now. I never thought I'd see the Chargers in this kind of losing football, not streak, but, losing plays of football. Going against Minnesota Vikings, they are a 3-point favorite. So how do you see this one playing out?
I think these are two of the best coached teams in the entire NFL. Got massive respect for Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter and those guys over there. Obviously, it's not working. Got massive respect for Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, but they're trying to win games with Carson Wentz. So it's a situation where I think both these teams are going to game plan and scheme themselves into the best position for them in this game. I don't think they're going to come out and shoot themselves in the feet, at least from a coaching perspective. But they're just extremely limited. The Chargers right now are on their 7th string tackle. I don't know how you're supposed to possibly compete at the NFL level with that. And then on the flip side, if Kevin O'Connell can't coach the stupid mistakes out of Carson Wentz, then I don't know who is going to. And there's talent in this game, obviously, like there's Justin Jefferson on the field. You got some defensive talent for the Chargers, but then you got major injuries. Amari and Hampton's not there. Like I said, the tackles aren't there. So both these teams of the the Vikings have been on the seesaw, win-loss. Chargers have lost 3 of their last 4. Coming into the year, these are 2 teams that we looked at as legitimate playoff teams. In the Chargers case, maybe even looked at them as a fringe Super Bowl contender. And we're about 2 months into the season, and it's just been completely reversed.
Yeah, I think back to the opening night game when it was Chiefs versus Chargers, and you looked at how dominant Justin Herbert was, and you looked at, how much they dominated the Chiefs, and we were saying, like, the Chiefs' reign could be over right now, and we're just not even close to that thought process 7-8 weeks later. So I think Justin Herbert's got to do a better job protecting the football. We saw it last week. He did not protect the football. If you don't do that, you're not going to win games. On the flip side, the Vikings have to protect the football. But I right off the top, just, viewing this game, it's hard to coach up Carson Wentz, but I look at how hard the Minnesota Vikings played against the Philadelphia Eagles. Despite the offensive mistakes, they were still very much alive in that game. I think their defense can carry them, even if Carson Wentz is messing up consistently. And that's why I would probably lean towards their 3 points in this spot, knowing that the Chargers are just not playing well. And they've had plenty of moments to get right over the past few weeks. They just haven't been able to do it.
Also, last week, so in that Eagles game, the calling card of the Vikings is their outstanding pass defense. Jalen Hurts had probably the best deep passing game of his career. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith between them had like 320 yards or something. So great game there, but also a bit of an outlier. To what you were saying about Herbert, yeah, he needs to protect the football, but also he was put in an unwinnable position. The Colts took a 23-3 lead in that game. The Chargers down to Amari and Hampton. They weren't going to run the football. Herbert threw it 55 times compared to the team running 16 times. 6 of those were by Herbert. So you had 10 carries from running backs, 55 passes from your quarterback, 6 carries from your quarterback. So, yeah, Herbert needs to protect the ball, but in that situation, I really don't know how he was supposed to. He was going to get picked at some point because he had to throw on basically every play. So really, going back to the coaching point, I think the theme of this game is, can both teams keep the game how they want it to go. I think both teams want to possess the football. I think they would prefer these long drives, keep the other team on the field, and also just kind of paper cut your way down the field. I don't think either team wants to open it up and risk making mistakes, because a turnover could be what loses the game.
I mean, that's a really good point, too, that you make with him throwing the football so many times last week. But you just look at what he's done so far this season. Looked great against the Chiefs, looked good against the Raiders. Then it was a pick against the Broncos. Then it was 2 picks against the Giants, pick against the Commanders, 2 picks against the Colts. So he's got 6 interceptions so far this year. I need more efficiency out of Justin Herbert overall.
And that's understandable, too. That's fair to expect that from him, especially when your running back is out. You want your quarterback to step up and deliver for you.
Well, because he's not that guy. And I don't know why people view Justin Herbert as that guy, because he's not. He's
got incredible talent, but
he does, but he's not. He has not achieved full expectations of what we would think Justin Herbert with the rocket arm and the 6'5" frame can do in the NFL. I don't look at Justin Herbert as the guy ever. Not like he doesn't even pop into my head when I think of top 10 quarterbacks. You know.
He would be in my top 10, but he would be closer to 10th than those people who want to say this is clearly number 5. If the big 4 is Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes, and Allen, the people who say Herbert's clearly number 5, no, I can't say that.
When I think of top 10 quarterbacks, that he may be in my top 5 list, but I don't think of him top quarterbacks in the NFL. Justin Herbert never pops in my mind. I feel like he's just kind of there, you know. He's just standing over there playing by himself in the sandbox.
Well, what I don't understand is, like, if you look at the way that Dak Prescott throws the football, he throws the football just the same way Justin Herbert does. The difference is Dak has been in some big moments in the playoffs, maybe not big moments, but he's been to the playoffs and he's lost big games. Herbert gets the benefit of the doubt. He's never won a playoff game in his career. So I don't understand why we say, okay, well, Dak got to the playoffs, won a game, and then lost, and that's a criticism. And when Dak throws interceptions, there's all the scrutiny. But then when Herbert does it, it's kind of like, oh, but man, he's so tall and he's got great hair and he can throw the ball 70 yards. And Herbert's the best.
Herbert in the playoffs last year, 14 of 32, 242, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Is that his only playoff game of his career? Oh, no. Then he had the Jacksonville game. That's a fun one that the Jags came back. I don't even know how the Jags came back and won that game, but that's another one where he wasn't bad. He wasn't very efficient, but he didn't turn it over.
He blew a 28-0 lead.
Did he blow it or did the defense blow it? He has to score. That's, he's just not a playoff quarterback. And maybe that's why I don't think about him like that. When I think of Dak, I think of the game where he retired Tom Brady, basically. So, like, he still has that big game in the playoffs, that big win, even though it was like a meaningless wild card game in Tampa Bay, really, because they just got smoked the next week, I believe. I'm not really sure. But, I don't think of Justin Herbert as that guy. So that's my fear of betting on him in this spot. I think the turnovers come in bunches with Justin Herbert. I think the Chargers are a team that they're obviously well coached and they're well schemed, but I just don't like betting on them one bit. I think there's a problem with Harbaugh. I don't think he's meant for the NFL right now, I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, so this flows very well into my first player prop. I hope you don't mind here. I'm going to take Justin Herbert in this game under 251.5 passing yards. Nice. Kind of building off last week, when your quarterback throws it 55 times, doesn't really matter who you are or what you're trying to accomplish. You can say what you want about Harbaugh. You can say, is he going to win a Super Bowl or not? The question of, is he a smart dude? Does he know football? Yes, he knows football. And he knows you can't win games throwing it 55 times. So like I was saying, I think on one hand, the Chargers are trying to restore balance to their offense. On the other, I think the Vikings are trying to call offense in a way that limits Carson Wentz's potential for interceptions. So I think you see a spike in the running game for both teams. When the Vikings are throwing, it's a lot of stuff that's close to the line of scrimmage, eat the clock. I just don't think there will be all that many possessions in this game. And on top of that, the Vikings do have probably the best pass defense in the NFL, even though Jalen Hurts had a very good game last week. But a lot of that stuff was ad-libbing. A lot of that was broken plays. Hurts taking the big shots, and he deserves credit for it. But I'm saying Minnesota's defense won the initial play, and then Hurts made something happen after it. So I think Herbert, coming to what you're saying, maybe a slow day here.
The quarterback situation is really interesting in this game. I do like that. I think the Vikings are going to emphasize the defensive side of the ball. They have to be able to do that. They have to be able to pressure Herbert and make him, force him into mistakes. I don't think we have an interception line yet here, do we? Yeah, we do. Justin Herbert interception. Yes, plus 100. I'll take him to throw an interception in this football game. I think he's going to be much more efficient than he was last week, but I'll take him to throw an interception considering he's done that let's see here. How many games, Grant? We've done it in 1, 2, 3, 4 of 7 games. I will take him to throw an interception here against one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the best defensive minds in the NFL with Brian Flores. On the flip side, I'd probably be leaning towards a Carson Wentz interception too if it was posted. But J.J. McCarthy may be in the lineup for this game. We really don't know the status of the starting quarterback. How much is that playing into your thought process in this game?
I view them as Eagles, essentially. I don't think either one of them is going to win the team the game. I know JJ did play a big role in his team coming back to beat the Bears on opening night, first start of his career, but I don't look at him as a guy who's going to make those winning plays. I also look at both of them as somebody who might throw for $170 and 2 interceptions. I think they both have it in them. So really, it doesn't change how I view this game.
No, I agree with that. I'd probably rather have Carson Wentz in there, though. I'd rather have the veteran.
Right now, I would probably have Wentz as well. Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy coming off an injury against the Chargers is probably not going to be a good situation for anyone involved with that. Again, we don't have a ton of props up right now, guys, but, Grant's going with the Justin Herbert under the passing yards. I'll take him to throw an interception. My next play here, I am going to go with Ladd McConkey over 55.5. I'm still going to take Ladd over. You look at Ladd, he's been very good this season. He's been one of Justin Herbert's favorite targets, obviously. 37 receptions, 380 yards, coming off a game where he had 67 last week against the Colts, was targeted 15 times by Justin Herbert. That was the most of the year. I expect that number to obviously drop down, especially if the Chargers can find a way to run the ball here. He had 7 catches for 100 against Miami. The 3 games before that were not great, but they're starting to get the ball to him a little more here. Big plays, obviously. We saw against Miami when he was able to take that ball all the way down the field late in the game to set them up for a field goal here. So I think they're going to keep getting the ball to McConkey, send him over the receiving yards.
Give me Justin Jefferson over 79.5 receiving yards. He had exactly 79 last week. I know the Chargers defense has been really good for the last year and a half. However, obviously some struggles last week. Daniel Jones was carving them up. The Colts offense, man, I actually picked the Chargers over the Colts last week. That was one of my biggest mistakes of the week. I said I need to see the Colts prove it against a good team with a good defense, and boy, did they ever prove it. I don't care really if Wentz or McCarthy, whoever's playing, has a slow day. They're going to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. Like, that's what we know about this dude. Over the course of his career, the best quarterback he's had is Kirk Cousins. He's had Nick Mullins. He's had Josh Dobbs. He's had Wentz. He's had McCarthy. He always produces, always puts up numbers. Currently 6th in the NFL in receiving yards. Again, 79 last week, 123 the week before that, 126 the week before that, 75 and 81 in the 2 weeks before that as well. So Justin Jefferson's going to get the ball. Chargers did just get carved up. I don't think it's going to be difficult for him to, we saw him take a screen pass 40 yards last week. He can beat you over the top. He can do everything. It's never a bad time to bet on Justin Jefferson.
What do you think about Justin Jefferson under 5.5 receptions? This is an interesting line in this game because he's only gone over twice this season. 10 receptions against the Steelers, 7 against the Browns. He had 5 last week against the Eagles, 5 against the Bengals, 3 against the Falcons, and 4 against the Bears. If you have J.J. McCarthy in there, obviously that was his game against the Bears. We had 4. I think this is a spot where I might want to go Justin Jefferson under 5.5 receptions for plus money, just because if I'm the Chargers, I'm thinking, how do I stop this football team? Obviously, you got to stop the run, but the one guy you got to account for in the passing game is going to be Justin Jefferson. He's going to get the explosive catches, but if you limit his touches and opportunities, you probably set yourself up pretty well to win. So I wouldn't mind taking a chance on that for plus money.
It could happen. It could work out where both of them happen as well. Because like you said, he's been getting a lot of explosive catches. That's been the difference. Wentz and McCarthy aren't that accurate. So I guess it's possible. It is. You kind of convinced me there. I'm still probably just going to take his over just because I don't want to take a negative correlation. But if I was looking for some fun, or like you said, maybe I've got another plus money pick that I'm confident that's already lined up. So all you got to do is hit one of those 2, and then you walk away with a profit.
This is a situation where, for me, the quarterback matters, because if it's J.J. McCarthy in there, I don't want anything to do with Justin Jefferson. If Wentz is in there, we at least know he's going to get the ball down the field to him. He's at least going to take shots, and he's confident enough in his deep ball. And I think the coaching staff's obviously confident enough to let him throw the deep ball. With JJ McCarthy, you're running the ball as many times as you can, and you're throwing on third down, and you're punting, and you're trusting your defense. So this is the situation where if I'm looking at receiver props for Justin Jefferson, I want to know who the quarterback is.
I'll give you one final pick here, and I don't know if I'm going to bet this one or not. Full transparency, I just like throwing out good value picks when I see them. And this anytime touchdown scorer for about plus 200, Oronde Gadsden, talented tight end out of Syracuse. He was a 5th-round pick, but they loved him all throughout camp. You've seen him start to come into his own. Last week, he takes 7 catches for 164 yards and a touchdown. The week before that, didn't score, but he did have 7 receptions, 8 targets for 68 yards. So he's getting a high volume. And, if the Chargers do end up in a position similar to last week where they're having to throw the football, seems like he's quickly becoming one of Herbert's favorite targets.
I like that. Also, one final one for me here, Jordan Addison over 21.5 receiving yards. Jordan Addison's kind of that underrated guy that's good enough to be a solid wide receiver too. You just don't think about him as much with Justin Jefferson there, but had an 81-yard reception against the Steelers, had 15 against the Browns. Obviously, the Browns are an elite defense. And then against the Eagles last week, had a 34-yard reception, 12 targets, 9 receptions there, 128 yards. So Jordan Addison, just quiet, really good numbers when he is on the field. So I'll take Jordan Addison over 21.5 for the long reception.
And then it sounded like we agreed. We never talked about it, but are we both taking Vikings plus 3 here?
I am. I'd like to know the quarterback situation. I'll probably use this in a teaser somehow. I feel a little more comfortable doing that. I mean, we've seen it on Thursday night. The dogs have been money on Thursday Night Football. So I think this is another spot where the dogs can be money. The Chargers continue to spiral. And the biggest thing for me is we've had so many games where these favorites should get right. And I don't know if this is considered a get right spot. Like the Vikings gave the Eagles everything they could handle last week while turning the ball over and giving up 1,000,000 yards through the air. It was still a really close football game. But this is a spot where you would think the Chargers can get back on track. You thought Miami was a spot where they could get back on track, which they found a way to win. It shouldn't have been like that close, though. So I just don't trust the Chargers right now. I think this is a spot where Minnesota gave the Eagles everything they had while playing bad. If they clean it up a little bit, they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, I'm with you fully.
All right, Grant, take us into the next segment on the show.
All right, so it is that time of the show where we get to our top 5 NFL spread bets for what hopefully is a beautiful Sunday. Tanner and I have been giving out a lot of winners here recently. The games this week, maybe not the most intriguing from a football fan perspective, but everything's always interesting and fun when you get to bet on them. You got some good picks lined up here, Tanner?
I do have some good picks lined up, and this week's pretty bad. This could be the worst slate of the week as far as just like a viewing. Like, I want to watch these games because I'm interested in the storylines of them. We do have Aaron Rodgers going to Green Bay.
Green Bay coming to Pittsburgh.
Green Bay coming to Pittsburgh, so that'll be an interesting game. Then we have Commanders and Chiefs, which I guess becomes a little less interesting, but still a good matchup now. If looking
if
with the
Jaden
Chiefs
plays,
but even if Jaden doesn't play, you still can the Chiefs keep it going? Are the Chiefs this team? And are they Rashee Rice obviously popping off last week? So there's a few storylines we care about here.
Yeah, Rashee Rice. Did you see the video going around on Twitter of him celebrating?
What he got in like the golf cart. The golf cart started driving.
It was an AI video, but a little Marshawn Lynch style, driving the golf cart around.
Just side note, these AI videos are crazy. They're what you can do with some of these things. I mean, they look so real until you get refs making out with Patrick Mahomes, but the build up to that actually looks really real.
It did. I thought it was a legitimate video from the game, but once I saw him hop on, I said, okay, this isn't real. But I thought it was real for a couple seconds there. My mom sent me a video of what was it? It was a 1950s rendition of Eminem's "Without Me." And she was like, "Oh, this is so funny, haha." And I said, "Yeah, some of those AI videos are great." And she said, "Wait, this is AI?" I said, "Mom, who's sitting around in their free time making a 1950s Eminem "Without Me" remix?" Like, yes, someone did it on a computer, but yes, that is an AI video.
Definitely. Grant, do you want to get us started here? Or you want me to get us started?
I'll take the lead here.
Okay.
So I will go. Which one of these do I think you didn't include? I'll take a guess. I'll take the Chicago Bears +7 against the Baltimore Ravens. So the
I
Ravens are getting all their dudes back. Lamar's coming back from his injury. But this is my thing with the Ravens. They've been awful this year. They got one win. They have the worst defense their franchise has ever had at this point in the season. One of the worst defenses in the NFL. They might lead the NFL in points allowed per game. So I get it. They're coming off of a bye week. Lamar's coming back. Everything's great, but they've given me nothing. If they had played well here and there, if they were 3-4 instead of 1-6 or whatever their record is, if they had beat the Chiefs, if they had won 37-20 instead of losing, maybe I would feel different because I saw it this season. I saw them play great. I still think they can be a good team. I know they've got the talent there to do it, but they haven't done it on the field at any point this season. Meanwhile, Ben Johnson, the impact he's had on this Chicago team, specifically the offense, he's doing a phenomenal job. Caleb Williams' inaccuracy does scare me. I know Bears fans are high on themselves, and as they should be. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Caleb's still missing a ton of throws, but Ben Johnson is still finding a way to put him in the offense in a way to succeed. DeAndre Swift, back-to-back weeks with 100-plus rushing yards. So can they lose by 6 points and still cover the spread? Yes, they can. So I like the Bears.
I like the Bears as well. I think, when I was going through the Ravens schedule here, they really need to, they can only lose 3 games when you think about it. 3 games is kind of the safe spot for them. 9-8 still doesn't get you in, but it gives you a chance. You can only lose 2 games and give yourself a legitimate, like, I'm in the playoffs. Like 10-7 will get you in. So this is a tough stretch for them. I think the Ravens are going to come out and play well. I don't know. I think they're going to figure out a way to turn it up a little bit. I don't think it comes this week. I think they win, but do not cover. But I'm still high on the Ravens. I still think they can make the playoffs. This is a must-win game for them. Lamar was not great at practice. I think he was out on Monday. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here with him. But they have to win. I just don't trust them to win by 7 right now.
You want to know something crazy? The Ravens at what are they? Are they 1-5?
Yep.
And the Steelers are 5-2. The Steelers are 4-2. Ravens are 1-5. The Ravens are favored to win the AFC North.
They still are?
Still are. +130 to the Steelers at +135.
Well, what do you think the Steelers are going to finish? That's the question.
Well, the Steelers have won more games already than I thought they were going to. Now, they did have a very easy start to the year. They've got Packers, Colts, at Chargers, Bengals, at Bears, Bills, at Ravens, Dolphins, at Lions, at Browns, Ravens. So if the Ravens do figure it out, say the Ravens go 2-0 in those games, you've got Packers, Colts, Bills, Lions in that mix. There could only be maybe like 4 more wins on the schedule for the Steelers, even though they're 4-2.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And the Ravens, I don't know if the Ravens are going to get in or not. Do you think they're going to get in?
It's so hard for me to say that a team is 1-5 is going to get in the playoffs, but like they've got Lamar, they've got talent, they could do it.
It's going to be very, very hard, I think, for them to get it done. I don't think they're a championship team this year, even if they get in. The fact that you got to beat Mahomes and you got to beat Josh Allen, and the Bills aren't even that good. Let's start by saying that the Chiefs are by far the best team right now. I don't think anyone's going to go on the road and beat the Chiefs. So for the Ravens against the Chiefs, if that matchup did happen, that game would be at Arrowhead. So we'll see.
So you said you're taking the Bears too. Is that on your card, or do you have okay? Give me one of your picks.
I like the Bengals -6.5 against the New York Jets. I imagine we're going to get Tyrod Taylor starting at quarterback this week for the Jets. Justin Fields is extremely washed up. They look so much better with Tyrod Taylor in the offense throwing the football than they did with Justin Fields on the field. Now, the question is, can Tyrod Taylor do enough? Maybe he can to cover, but the fact of the matter is he still threw a lot of bad passes. He was picked off twice. The receiving talent's not great. Running the football, they just don't have a consistent offense. Like you could give these guys the ball on the 40-yard line and you can't trust them to score points. That's the problem here. So when I'm looking at the Bengals, they at least have the best receiving duo in the NFL with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Joe Flacco gives them a better chance to win than Jake Browning. He was fantastic last Thursday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's going to be able to get the ball to his guys in space, where the Jets defense is good. It's not great. Just numbers wise, I think they've been stacked, backs against the wall so many times because their offense this year. But I think the Bengals are going to be able to score enough points to cover this. And if the Bengals get to, let's say 21 points, I don't necessarily trust the Jets to get 17. And 21 points is something that, it's very doable to cover 6.5, but I just can't trust Tyrod Taylor to put up 17 points, which is what they would need to cover the 6.5, because 21-14, obviously, you're getting in a situation where the Bengals still cover.
So before I respond to anything you said, I'm going to just throw some duos at you, because you said T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are the best receiving duo in the NFL. You like them better than Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison?
Yes.
You like them better than A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith?
Yes.
You like them better than CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens?
Yes.
You like them better than Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got. I think that's everybody.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you? Wait, with Joe Burrow in there?
I think so. I think I'm getting a little recency bias from how well Pickens has played. Pickens has been sensational this year, by the way. So shout out to George Pickens, but that is just this year. From body of work, I would give it to the Bengals.
I mean, with Joe Flacco in there, I might not say they're the best receiving duo in the NFL, but if Joe Burrow in there, they're that good. So I mean, they're right up. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson don't even cross my mind when I think about receiver duos. We were talking about that earlier. Jordan Addison is just a quiet receiver number 2, but he's really good. He's not T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. So we were talking about T. Higgins being a wide receiver 1 somewhere. I don't think about Jordan Addison like that.
The thing with the Rams too, I mean, Devontae Adams is still really effective. He's still going to come up with touchdowns. Puka could be now. Is Puka as talented as Jefferson, as Chase? No, but Puka was on pace. I know he got injured, but Puka was out producing them, and Puka's the best blocking receiver in the NFL. So he holds weight in this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm not taking, if I'm drafting on the schoolyard and I'm picking out who I want, I'm not taking Puka Nacua first.
No way. It's
right,
easily Jefferson and Chase. So what game were? Oh, you were talking about the Bengals. I'm gonna stay away from this just because I don't know how Flacco. I know what Flacco was for the last couple of years. Sometimes you would get those highs. Sometimes he just hands the ball to the other team, turns it over. I don't know if that's because he was with the Browns and they're dysfunctional. Maybe he's actually been good these last few years, and now he's got the receivers to prove it. I don't know. I'm just gonna stay away from this one. My next game. You'll appreciate this as a Patriots guy. I'll take the Patriots -7. I would look around, see if you can get them for 6.5, because you always want to get below that touchdown line if you can. But I will take them against the Cleveland Browns. So the Browns have really showcased something recently, because they've gotten back to the version of themselves that was on the cusp of being good. They have the elite defense. They have the really strong running game. They're just missing the quarterback. So they're back to that stage at the very least. The problem is they're going against one of the hottest players in the entire NFL, Drake May, top 5 MVP candidate easily at this point in the season. And then on the flip side, the Patriots defense isn't great, but it is great against the run. If you look at scoring efficiency, their ability to stay ahead of the chains, third down, all that stuff, yards per carry, they're very, very good. And this Cleveland offense wants to get Quinshon Judkins to generate the explosive plays. They're not going to generate them with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. Gabriel might not turn the ball over, but he's also not going to move the ball down the field. So while Drake May might throw an interception, heck, maybe even 2 in this game, if he does that, the Browns are going to get to 14 points maybe, and the Patriots can easily get to 21 even if May turns the ball over. He's just been that good throwing the ball deep down the field. So as long as Ramondre Stevenson doesn't rub his hands in butter before the game, I think the Patriots have a really good chance to cover.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat here. This is one of my plays. I look at the Browns every week when they play an explosive offense. I think back to the game against the Lions. They're really good on defense. They're going to be able to hold as long as they can, but they can't hold long enough to be within 7 points here. I think the Patriots, this could be a really close game going into the third quarter. Eventually the Patriots are going to break out and score. Dylan Gabriel coming off a big win last week. It was really Quinshon Judkins who just took over. The Dolphins are a trash football team. I don't really look at that one and say they're going to be able to come here and play well. As long as the Patriots can handle the Browns front seven, I think they're going to be just fine in this game and hold on to the football. If you don't shoot yourselves in the foot, if you just have Drake May keep playing like he's been playing, I think they're going to be fine. Now, I do worry about the Patriots. One of these easy games in the stretch, they're going to lose. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I highly doubt they're going to be perfect in this easy game stretch that they have. This could be one where they slip up. You never know. I just don't necessarily see it with Dylan Gabriel playing quarterback for the Browns and the fact that they just can't score enough points to keep up.
Well, speaking about them losing one of these games, you wouldn't expect them to. They got a taste of that last week because they were down 13-10 against the Titans. Looked like going into halftime, they put together a really quick scoring drive, get a touchdown on the board going into halftime. So they're actually up 17-13. This is on the road, again, against a sleeper team that had only won one game. This is an obvious letdown spot. I had actually taken the Titans at plus 7.5 last week, so I was feeling really good about it. Obviously, I was disappointed. They let up that late touchdown, but then they come out and the Patriots totally dominate the second half. And to me, that was a sign of the Vrabel effect. I know we talk about Vrabel not really proving himself in the NFL aside from one run, maybe even call it a fluke to the AFC Championship game. I don't call it a fluke, but some people would. But that was a sign where it's like, guys, trap game, you're falling to it, you're falling victim to it. Wake up, get your head out of you know what? We're going to come out here and we're going to dominate the second half. And they did that. So I think Vrabel has proven he can get his team to respond when he needs them to. So I have confidence against them. I don't think it's a letdown spot.
I totally agree with that. I just think they're going to lose one of these games, and I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't see it as a 7-point favorite, though, at home against the Cleveland Browns, who can't score. But Grant, we're both through 2. You're on 3. I feel like we're going to have a lot of the same picks this week. I just don't know why. The board's telling me that. So what's your third pick here? And we'll see if we have the same one.
I would be shocked if you have this one because I know you hate this team. And heck, I hate this team too. I'll take the Dolphins at plus 7.5 against the Falcons. So this is this is the thing about the Dolphins. I mean, they suck. Tua sucks. McDaniel sucks. Tua is blaming people for not showing up to meetings, and then former players are saying they didn't show up because they don't respect you. Tua is literally handing the ball to the Browns. Mike McDaniel, after Quinn Ewers gets his first plays of his NFL career, McDaniel's not even talking to him on the sideline. Everything is going wrong for them. However, let's not forget, everything was going wrong for them going into that Chargers game. They were winning with 40 seconds left, I think on the road. I think they were in LA. No, they were at home, but even still only lost by 2 points. They did cover when they played the Bills. This is a team that has proven it can be competitive. They do still have some talent. And are the Falcons, this is a big question when you're looking at a 7.5-point line. Falcons got to win by 2 scores. Are they going to pull away from the Dolphins? The Dolphins defense sucks, but the Falcons have been very inconsistent on offense this year. They've hit some high highs, which is good because they're starting to unlock it with Penix, but low lows. You know, they should have beat the Buccaneers. They go on the road. They win 22-6 against the Vikings. Then they get blown out 30-0 against the Panthers. Then they beat the Commanders. Penix has a career high, beat the Bills, double back, score 10 points on the road. Look like you have no answers for the 49ers, who are down Fred Warner, who were down Nick Bosa, who lost Greenlaw, who lost Hufanga in free agency. That 49ers defense was decimated, and they scored 10 points. Looked like they had no clue. So obviously, I think the Falcons are a better team than the Dolphins, but have they given me enough reason to trust them to win by 2 scores? They have not.
I haven't even looked at this play. Like, this one didn't even cross my eyes when I was looking at the board. I will say, if I had to pick a side, I will go with the Miami Dolphins plus 7.5. My fear with that is, has the locker room just totally given up? What are we going to get from the group coming out? You know, the season's over. You're firing Mike McDaniel. When is that going to happen? What's going to happen? Tua is still okay, but he's not great. There's just so many things to go against the Dolphins here. With that being said, the Falcons should not be favored by 7.5 over anybody. Michael Penix is terrible, and the Falcons are not that good of a football team overall. So I would pick the Dolphins. I do like your logic there. I can't see Atlanta beating anybody by 2 scores. And obviously they can win by 2 scores. I just don't see them doing it here because, one, Michael Penix is terrible at football.
It's a shame. I'm a big Penix guy. At least I
You like
was.
this man has no pocket awareness. He has
I
no pocket
was. I
awareness.
was a big Penix guy.
Hey, the one thing you can't do here is take a sack. What's he going to do? Take a sack.
Take a sack.
That's the biggest. I think out of all the things that annoy me from the quarterback position, it's not like the interception. It's not the bad throws. It's like Baker does some things sometimes where you're trying to fit the ball into a window where it should never be thrown. But like the biggest issue I have with quarterbacks, the dumbest thing, the one thing you can't do here is take a sack. You just can't do it. And they do it. And Michael Penix does that a whole lot.
For me, it's refusing to accept the play is over, which kind of goes hand in hand with that. Mariota had the best example you'll ever see of it against the Cowboys. I don't know if you saw it. It was the pick six to Deron Bland.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He broke like 6 tackles in the pocket. It was crazy. He looked like Marshawn Lynch. And it's like, dude, the play's over. Throw it away, scramble and slide, do something. And he chucks it across his body, across the whole field. And it's a Deron Bland pick six. It's like, man, you got to cut bait. The play was over. Leave it. Let it die. Live to see another day.
All right, Grant, you ready for my next pick here? This is a good one. I think you might have this one. All right, you either have it or you're going against it. I think this one's talking to you. But I will take the San Francisco 49ers -1.5. I'll take them on the money line because I don't want to worry about a 1.5 in the NFL, but I'll take them on the money line here against the Houston Texans. The Texans cannot score. They are an inconsistent offense. I don't know what we're going to get every time they take the field. On the flip side, at least for the 49ers, they've been cooking a little bit with Mac Jones at quarterback. No matter if it's Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, it doesn't matter. This team revolves around one man, and that is Christian McCaffrey. He was fantastic last week running the football, catching the football, doing it all from that position, and I think we're going to continue to see him do that. The San Francisco 49ers are obviously beat up on the defensive side of the ball. You don't have Bosa, you don't have Warner, but they're doing enough, and they're playing good enough complementary football to show up. We saw it against the Falcons last week defensively. They made the plays when they had to make them. They made a lot of plays down the stretch. Offensively, they just played clock control. Mac Jones did turn the football over once. That score could have been even bigger in favor of the 49ers if he didn't do that here. I just don't trust Houston. I think they're eventually going to fold too. I don't know when that's going to come, but CJ Stroud right now does not look good. Defensively, they are good. I just trust the 49ers realistically on offense more than I do for the Houston Texans.
I've got this one on my card too. For me, one of the biggest takeaways from their game against the Falcons was just the George Kittle effect. The offense just looked more seamless. Kittle is a tackle who's 250 pounds and can also be a receiver depending on when you need him to be. And that really opened up the running game for Christian McCaffrey. You saw that. I've said this numerous times now. I love DeMeco Ryans. I think he is a great coach. Houston defense has been elite since they got there, but if there is a weakness to it, it is the running game. And we know that's what the 49ers are going to focus on. And they're not, the Texans have Stingley and they have Lassiter and Petrie, and they can do a phenomenal job if you want to go bombs away, but that's not the style of offense the 49ers play. So this does just set up well for them. And there have been spots already this season where it's like if CJ Stroud was the guy he was as a rookie, he would perform here. If the Texans are a legitimate playoff contender like they have been for recent years, this would be the game they prove it. And it hasn't happened.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Grant. We're on the same page. I knew we'd be on the same page for that. I knew we'd be there. So that was your fourth, right?
Yep, you're on number 4 now.
Okay. You don't have this one, I bet. And I don't think many people would, but I'll take the Tennessee Titans plus 14.5 at the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. You don't have that one, do you?
No chance.
All right. So last week, the theory of like the divisional dog getting double-digit points didn't work out with the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs blew the Raiders off the field. The Tennessee Titans looked good against the Patriots early on. They were able to throw the football. Cam Ward looked okay early in the game. Obviously, he fell apart late. But realistically, if you don't have the strip sack fumble, the score is a lot closer than it is. That made a huge difference in the game. If you don't allow the big explosive plays down the field, it's a much closer game. When I'm looking at the Tennessee Titans, they need to be able to stop the run in this game. If you can just limit what Jonathan Taylor does, you put yourself in a position to at least cover the spread. Daniel Jones has been really good this season, but I don't think Daniel Jones is going to beat you. You need to worry about Jonathan Taylor. If you shut him down, you put yourself in a position to at least be close in this game. It's a divisional dog. It's 14 points. I know last week the fired coaches bump really didn't make a difference for them, but they came out hard. I think giving them another week after the fired coach bump could honestly help them in this spot, just because more time away from Brian Callahan, more time, just have some fun, relax, and say, we got nothing to lose. Let's go on the road. Let's try to keep this one close. 14 points is a lot of points. And I know it's the Colts and they're blowing everybody out, but it's still a ton of points to lay in a divisional game.
It is a lot of points. The Titans did look better last week. I took the Titans last week, didn't work. I took them when they played the Cardinals, did work there. So I'm not averse to the idea of this happening. It's just not for me. And I wish you luck.
Yeah. I mean, it's not one that I'm counting on. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at that one and be like, that one hit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, this can be a tight one down the stretch there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a game where the Titans can keep them close. That's just me.
So my final pick, I'll take the Bills -7 against the Panthers. I've been the Panthers guy on this show. I've been the Bryce Young guy on the show. Specifically, though, I've been talking about the Panthers defense. They've been pretty phenomenal. Now, the one thing I will say about the Panthers is they can still run the ball. Rico Dowdle has been absolutely hooping, and the Bills' weakness with their defense is their run defense. They're allowing like over 5 yards per carry. So they haven't been great there, but this is where the buck comes in. They are coming off of a bye week. Obviously, they needed to do some soul searching after the Falcons loss. You would have assumed that they would be able to do that. And Bryce Young expected not to play, or rather not expected to play in this game, should be Andy Dalton. If Bryce Young does somehow play, it's going to be a hampered version of him. And the best version of Bryce Young isn't all that great to begin with. But Andy Dalton specifically could easily turn the ball over, could put it right into your hands, set you up on a short field. Bills coming off of a long week, the bye week, 2 straight losses. They're going to be motivated. This isn't a typical spot where you look at it like they're the Panthers, we're the Bills, we don't have to worry about it. No, you went from 4-0 to 4-2. Got to get the momentum back. Got to get everything right back in the locker room. Josh Allen, couple of slower days. He's due for another great game. So I think 7 points, no problem for the Bills.
I love this play. I did not have it on my card, but I do agree with you. I don't think the Bills are that good overall. I still think there's some flaws with the team. Defensively, they're not great. Offensively, they don't have a ton of talent outside of Josh Allen. I still like the play, though. I think it's a good one. The Panthers are not as good as they have played this season. I think Bryce Young's going to be okay, but you can't win a Super Bowl with Bryce Young either. That's another thing. I don't know why teams draft quarterbacks that they can't win a Super Bowl with. Bryce Young's one of those guys.
I wonder when the last time the Panthers were 4-3 was.
Probably pretty long ago, I would think.
Would it be the year they went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl?
Probably Cam Newton.
Let me see if I can find this. Obviously, it hasn't been in the last few years.
It's got to be Cam.
2020, no. 2019, they started 4-2.
Yeah.
And
who was that with?
Wait, am I looking at the right team here? That was the Kyle Allen year.
What'd they finish that year?
They finished that year, what did I say, 2019? They finished 5-11. They were 4-2 to start and finished 5-11.
Interesting.
They ended the year on an 8-game losing streak.
Interesting. I wouldn't. You know what? That's a good segue into our next pick here, because we're talking about the NFC South.
Well, this is the final pick of the
show. Well, no, we got NBA after this, but this is the final pick of the football segment here, and people are going to like this one. Give me Baker Mayfield to cover the spread against New Orleans Saints. Spencer Rattler's coming off his first really bad game last week of the season against the Bears. He turned the ball over multiple times. That's not the Spencer Rattler we know and love. I think he's going to be much more efficient in this game, and I think the Saints are going to be very good in this one as well. But I'm looking at the Buccaneers coming off what they did against the Detroit Lions. Nobody has been better at bouncing back after a bad loss than Baker Mayfield. He was horrendous. Baker MVP tour is dead. It's over. It went from 3-1 to 9-1, and it's not coming back. It's Mahomes' award to win now. The Bucs are still 9-8, 10-7. We were talking about that before. This is one where you got to get right and get back on track. You're better than the Saints. You've played well against the Saints in the Superdome. You have Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans is gone. So what? Like Mike Evans, I'm sorry. He's not washed up, but like he's too fragile at this point in his career. We saw it last year with the injury. We see it this year with the injury. I don't even know if he'll play football again. He might play one more season. Who knows? But the Mike Evans train is kind of coming to an end. You have Emeka Egbuka. Tez Johnson is a legitimate star. He is a star. Tez Johnson, Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin, Kate Otten. You have so much talent. Rashad White. Hopefully Bucky Irving can be back. I don't know when his stats to come back is. The Bucs are just fine. You need to fix up the offensive line. You got to protect Baker a little bit more. But the Saints don't bring a ton of pressure. They're going to sit back. They're going to play coverage. I think this is a spot where Baker just has a field day and they find a way to cover 4.5.
Little scary because of some of the injuries, but I did almost add this to my card, which means that I do like this pick. I would be feeling the same way you're feeling. Yeah, Spencer Rattler, don't think he'll be as bad as he was last week, but he can be better, and the Saints can still lose by a touchdown. I think the Bucs are easily a touchdown better than the Saints, no matter where they're playing, really, no matter how many injuries they have.
Yeah, the two-leg touchdown or the two-leg Tom Brady parlay. That's what we'll call it. Two-leg Tom Brady parlay. Patriots money line, Bucs money line, -114. Bang. That's a great one. That's juicy.
Those are the odds?
Yeah.
-114?
That's juicy. I might lock that in right now.
That's a really good one. I'll probably take that as well.
Yeah. But anyways, that's the NFL segment, Grant. You're the NBA guy here, so why don't you pivot us over to what we're talking about in the NBA?
Well, we're coming off the heels of NBA opening night. If you're watching this early enough, you'll see this on NBA opening night. If you are catching this on Wednesday, which is when the video is going out on its own, then you'll see it there. The best NBA player props and picks for Wednesday. Tanner and I got a couple of them cooked up here. I don't know. We didn't talk about this. I don't know if you went props. I think you did. I didn't really go spreads. I didn't go money lines. Who cares about some stuff on the opening night? You know, we got 82 games. Let's talk about the players that make it go around. I don't know if you went with stars. I trended more on some new faces, new arrivals, rookies, stuff like that. Who'd you end up going with?
Stars.
Okay.
I got 2 props for you, Grant. 2.
All right. Here. Well, I got 3. So why don't I go first and we can go bounce back and forth and we can call it the Big Five, the Ride the Line Big Five NBA props for Wednesday.
I like that. It's a good name.
Okay. So my first pick, I am a longtime fan of this player. Loved him at high school. Loved him before his brother took over the scene. Loved him before his middle brother stole a pair of sunglasses from a shop in China. If you know who I'm talking about by now, I'm talking about Lonzo Ball. He is joining the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've got him for 4+ assists for plus money. This is Lonzo Ball we're talking about, who, when coming out of college, and I get it that college comps don't always hold up, but Magic Johnson said he was going to break his Lakers assist record. LeBron has called him one of the most intelligent players he's ever played with, and he played with him as a rookie. This is Lonzo Ball, who last year only 3.3 assists per game, only played 22 minutes per game. I do think he will be playing more than that throughout his career. He's averaged just about 6 assists per game. He's going to play for the Cavs, who had one of the best offenses in league history last year. I get it. He's not going to be a starter, but being in that environment, mixing it up with the starters, he'll be on the court with Donovan Mitchell at different times. He'll be on the court with some of these, with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. He's going to put his team in great positions, just knowing how he plays, knowing the pace that the Cavs play with. They'll be flying up and down the court. Lonzo's going to find these guys. This line is going to get moved to 4.5, 5.5 for future games after this. So to get it 4 for plus money right now, I'm all over it.
I like that play. I really do. I like it, Grant. I mean, I'm a big fan of Lonzo Ball.
He's a very nice guy. He's very humble, hardworking. He gets a lot of crap, but like when you watch him play, the way he plays basketball, he exemplifies, and I get it, he was drafted 2nd overall. He was supposed to be more than this, but the way he plays basketball exemplifies what a perfect teammate and role player is. He is Derek White. He is Christian Brown. He's one of those guys who you want them on your team so badly because they're always going to do the right thing.
Derek White's not a role player. Derek White's a star, Grant.
Well, actually, I mean, Derek White might be the best role player ever because he is no longer a role player. You're right. Yeah. He is a star.
He's a star, and I will be going with Derek White over 19.5 points against the Philadelphia 76ers. Boston, we don't know what we're going to get from them from an offensive perspective this year. Very weak. You're going to see Jalen Brown be in that star role. How's he going to handle it? The one thing I do know is that Derek White is going to be taking the ball up the floor. He's going to be scoring points consistently, and he's money from the three-point line. You look at just how the Cleveland Cavaliers play against point guards, at least last year. They were giving up, not the Philadelphia 76ers, against point guards last year, giving up 25 points per game to point guards. They're also giving up 3.5 threes per game to point guards. That's one of the worst in the NBA. That was bottom 4 last year. So I think there's going to be a lot of moments where Derek White can score here. My fear is just opening night. What are we going to get from a minutes perspective? How's the offensive rotation going to look? It's a brand new Celtics team, realistically. I just don't know what that looks like, but I do know Derek White, when he gets his opportunities, I trust him to knock down shots, and he should have plenty of them.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm also going to take a prop from this game. It is not going to be a Celtics player. I will go with Philadelphia 76er, and I'm going to, I believe the Bahamas is where this man is from. You might recognize him more from his time at Baylor. It is a rookie, the 3rd pick in the draft, VJ Edgecombe. This guy is electric, and I will take him over 11.5 points. That's a very low line for someone who should be getting heavy minutes with this team. If you look at the 76ers starting lineup, he is projected to slide in next to Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre. Paul George probably not going to be available. I don't believe he's available in this game, but Embiid. You got Grimes and McCain's coming back from injury as well. But point being, Edgecombe is clearly a featured member of this rotation and will most likely be starting every game this season, if not close to most of them. Looking at his final preseason game in 34 minutes against the Timberwolves, shoots 56% from the field, has 26 points. But not only that, 6 rebounds and 5 steals. Those are the things that ensure you get on the court. Had 10 points in 24 minutes in the game before that, but 14 points in 31 minutes before that as well. If I'm just to assume he's going to play 30 plus minutes, he's a guy who's going to run in transition. He's willing to cut off the ball. He'll do the dirty work and get the cheap points that way. But then he can also initiate off the dribble, drive the lane, take some threes here and there, work the high game with Joel Embiid. So I think it's a same thing as Lonzo. I think this line's going to get quickly moved. I think he'll be more like the 14.5, 15.5 range for most of the season. So to get it starting this low I think it's a good deal.
I like it. And I will go back now to the New York Knicks. And I will take Jalen Brunson over 24.5 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers were pretty good against guards last season. With that being said, though, Jalen Brunson, the offense just runs through him. Last time out against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he had 27 points. The rebounds and assist numbers were relatively low compared to what he had done in some other games against Cleveland. He had 4 and 4 in February against them, but still hit 26 points early in the season. Had a big assist night, just didn't have a big scoring night, but has gone over against the Cleveland Cavaliers in his past 2 appearances against them. From a points perspective, I think the offense is going to run through him here. I think it has to. He was 8th in scoring last year, 26 points per game, super efficient from the field too. That's the biggest thing to look at with him, shooting, close to 50%. So I will be going with Jalen Brunson over 24.5 points.
Yeah, Brunson is awesome. I don't know if you saw the clip the other day. They were interviewing Karl Anthony Towns and they asked him what his role in the new offense looks like. And he said, I don't know. So for him to say that, it's not that I think he's lying or anything, or he's being facetious. I'm almost taking him at his word, but more so I'm looking at it like, if you knew what your role was, you would say it, and the team would have prioritized that. If they ask Jalen Brunson, what's your role in the offense, I'm sure he has a definitive answer. You know what I mean? So This is a guy, Jalen Brunson's a guy who can score 30 points a game. So 24.5 sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, the offense has to run through him. That's the bottom line.
So my final pick, and the final pick of our big 5, I think that's what we decided to call it here. I'll take another rookie, Cooper Flagg. I'll go under 15.5 points. Now, we've seen the expectations on first overall picks. This is a guy who's been called generational. If you look at projected Olympic teams, the next time Team USA is there, you'll get the memes where LeBron is going to be on Olympic team 2040 because he's never going to stop playing. But Cooper Flagg, everyone's saying this is a guy who's going to be a leader on the next U.S. Olympic team. This is the next great American basketball player. Expectations are just very high, and I want people to take a step back and just realize what his situation is. So Yeah, he's projected to start at the 3, but that's not his natural position. He's going to have Anthony Davis and Derek Lively starting next to him with PJ Washington, with Daniel Gafford, with Najee Marshall, with Caleb Martin, all coming off the bench. Didn't even mention Dwight Powell, a guy like that. All players who are more in that mid-range to post area, which is where Flagg likes to be. Now, Flagg can shoot threes, but is he going to consistently get it, take the defender one-on-one, pull up for a 3? No, that's not really his game. Also, in the backcourt, D'Angelo Russell and Klay Thompson, 2 guys who love to get shots up. They're never shy to do that. And you're facing the Spurs, who were a very good defense last year when Victor Wembanyama was on the court. Heads up, he's going to be on the court. If you want to drive the rack, good luck. Wemby, as long as he plays, as long as he doesn't get a blood clot, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. He was favored to win it last year. I think he was favored to win it the year before that. It's just, I don't think it's going to be a great game for Flagg, and not that he's even necessarily going to do anything wrong. I just don't know how many attempts he's going to get. In the preseason, he never scored more than 13 points. Now we're upping that to 15.5 in his NBA debut. I'll take the under.
I like it. I think, we set these unrealistic expectations for these kids that are coming into professional sports too early, or like you look at Arch Manning going into college, like never started before. Now it's not going to look good. Cooper Flagg is we're going from dominating in the ACC, don't get me wrong, to now we're going against grown men. It's going to take a little time to get there. So I don't mind going under on the points.
Yeah. And also, like I said, it's not even that he is going against growing men plays a part in it, but also his team. The Mavericks are in a nice position in the sense that they've got too many assets. They can trade them, get players back who fit them. But right now, there's just a logjam at that forward and center position. And that will affect how many touches he gets, how many minutes he gets, the spacing on the court, stuff like that.
Definitely. Well, Grant, that was Ride the Line, greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. Make sure you guys check out WSN.com. Again, the picks, the promo codes, Kalshi's on their Prize Picks. Get signed up for those books and those prediction markets as well. Got all the usual ones there too. FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesar. So make sure you guys hop on that right now. Grant, why don't you take us out of here today?
That is going to do it for this episode of Ride the Line, guys. If you did make it to the end of the video and you have not hit the like button yet, then go ahead and do it. It takes 2 seconds out of your day. It's the #1 way you can support us. Make sure you are subscribed. We got content coming out pretty much every day. Like Tanner said, check out WSN.com as well. And we will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.